All right, it's time to take a look at the newspapers, and to do that with us this wet Monday is Dotun Ojon. He's a leadership and communication strategist, our regular on Mondays. Good morning to you, Dotun. You look still sleepy. Is it the rain?
It's the rain, you know. It was very difficult to get out of bed this morning. You know.
In the local parlance, they say G-Mason.
All right, let's quickly go to the first paper, which is, of course, The Nation. Major story: Nigeria got $1.1 trillion from oil in 28 years, says federal government. Oshibajo, total debt is $73 billion. The vice president was practically trying to clarify the amounts this administration has got as loan, the deficit met, you know, from the previous administrations, and everything put in clear perspective, really. But generally, people would say that how far really so far? How have Nigerians benefited from the crude oil they generate?
Okay, we have not, every blessing we have as a people has tactically turned to a burden on us as a people. And that's quite unfortunate, but you can trace it to the issue of lack of adequate management, either from here or from there. There's no discussion that is going to go past the level of corruption that we have experienced in Nigeria. There's no discussion that's going to go past the level of mismanagement that we have seen in Nigeria. So even if we have borrowed 1 billion naira, even if it's 100 million naira, what is the effect now on the average Nigerian people? That should be the measurement. I think we should go past the level of saying, this is what we meant, this is what, well, you understand. So it's the impact and the effect that we really need to talk about.
All right, let's go to other stories now from the top left. 3 die as Shiites clash with troops in Abuja. Need I say more? There was a video yesterday on the social media.
Yeah, you know, anytime I hear that there's going to be a protest by the Shiite people, I'm always very afraid, because if you trace the history, even from Kaduna or where they're from,
yes,
you discover that anytime they go out to protest, blood always follows their movement. So I think, and they're having another one, I think today again in Abuja. They've actually said they will have another protest today again. So I think the police authority should, beyond trying to cage people, I think we should address what the genuine concerns are.
The big question, Dotun, is also the question of whether we're learning from the past. Some would say this is how Boko Haram started. The president said that national security precedes the rule of law.
Yeah.
Don't you think that we should perhaps be looking the other way at such a critical time like this?
You know, what we have done over time is we are very reactive people, and unfortunately at every level, both individual and at the leadership position. So what we're supposed to ask ourselves is very simple. We have this traditional mindset of leaving a problem to grow before we tackle it. We just leave it, oh, it's a problem, we cannot just wave it aside until they become very, very, very big. So again, I'm going to ask you, what is the fundamental issue? Let us address it so that we can move forward. Because I'm not sure these people are going to end their protest until we address the fundamental
the reason
issue.
for the protest.
Yeah.
All right, so other stories. 2019, APC senators differ over Buhari. Firms get 24 hours deadline to submit reports. Fans mourn death of Leicester City owner. Very sad occurrence yesterday, but despite that, Leicester City still played. Anyway, Supreme Court's rebuke and settles Court of Appeal. And down here, ACF seeks arrest of Monarch's killers. Oyedepo warns politicians.
The Daily Trust is next. 2019 aggrieved APC governors to meet in Abuja. I believe that's today. Whether or not these aggrieved governors have the numbers to threaten the national chairman of the party is another, cup of tea entirely. But some are saying that the body language appears to be that they are really in the minority and not even in the good books of the national leadership of the party.
Yes, you see, if you trace party history from 1999 to date, you discover that the major problem that has happened either in APC, ACN, or this thing has always been the influence of the governor. In PDP, it was when the so powerful governors forum started having issues with them. That was where their problem started from. So I think beyond number, there's the need for the party to be able to unite its people. Because at the end of the day, politics is about number. Don't think because they are just 3 governors.
Absolutely.
No, you see, I think we should get to a point where party should be able to unite the people. But now with the kind of politics we are playing.
I was about to say that because that was how the crisis in the PDP festered. You know how the NPDP had to break away,
Break
which
away
joined
APC
the
took
APC.
advantage of.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It may
saying
not be.
that
It may not
they are in
be.
few.
It may not be exactly the same because first there's an issue of time also between now and the election. That time they had a lot of time in their hand to play with. Now election is just by the door, and a lot of things that are coming up. But beyond that, I have said it repeatedly. I think for the good interest of their party, they should talk to unite themselves rather than talking to divide.
I'm just
Right.
wondering how that talk will fester. You know, I had an interview with the special advisor to the Imo State governor on election matters during the weekend, and he threatened on live TV that if things do not go their way, they are not going to work for the re-election of Mr. President. So it's like being in between, you know, the devil and the deep blue sea.
No,
the party doesn't want to go to
there's
the line
also
of the
what they call
governors.
political weight. I'm
Okay.
being serious and sincere. That's what they call political weight. There's a way the party can actually measure your political weight. There are some governors today that are not even popular in their state. Honestly, either they are from APC or PDP. So before you come to table for discussion, you come with value. When you bring value, then the people will listen to you, not just
the
threatening.
power of incumbency.
Of a sitting governor.
Can you discountenance?
Let's move on very quickly. 6 killed as soldiers shites clash in Abuja. That's on page 3 of the Daily Trust. Again, PDP woos Ambode, other APC members. I thought that the window has closed when it comes to defection, but perhaps I'm wrong.
You know, there's always, you talked about the power of
transfer
incumbency
window.
the other time. It's always open because the party has the power to actually replace their candidate. I think within a period of time. So if, I don't know why they are calling Ambode, but I'm sure that they are not calling him to be local government chairman. You understand? So it's going to be interesting because the way PDP is even playing politics in Lagos, I'm wondering. I've been asking questions. I haven't seen any of their posters in major places. It's as if they've even left Lagos for APC to rule.
Even the last time I checked, Governor Ambode says he was going to support Sanwo-Olu.
Of course.
Campaign vigorously
Yes,
for President
in
Muhammadu
fact.
Buhari and the
That's the
APC
expression he
candidate
used.
in Lagos.
Mixed reactions trail listed companies' third quarter results. Minimum wage, federal government governors meet today.
All right, so we go to the Punch newspaper. Major story, APC senators, reps attack party, say we are not better than PDP. Things have not changed, many things are worse, and the people are bitter. We should not assume that we can win even with massive rigging. That's Senator Ibrahim there with, that statement saying that if you come to think of it, if you look at the way the administration is going, the APC, it's not really that different from that of the PDP.
You know, if you are lucky to clock 70 in Nigeria, I use the word lucky because we can continue to trace the figure as to our life
expectancy,
Which
around
is now
55 years.
57 now.
No, okay, I was reading that it went up a little.
Yes.
Now, if you are lucky to be 70, maybe you will be forced to tell some truth. Unfortunately, we had a man who was 70, above 70, and told us a lot of truth. And now he's close to 80 or about 80. I'm talking about former President Obasanjo, and he's reverting the truth. So I hope this man will not revert the truth. This is one of the things that we have continually said. I have been on this platform, and I've said it that, come on, we should learn to do things differently. Because what we have is a battle of words. APC attacking PDP. I thought that we should be more strategic than attacks and all this. If, I say it again, if APC, you know, I seriously pray for this government. I seriously pray for the people in government. Why? Because I know that if this APC government fails the people of Nigeria, then it will be difficult for Nigerians to trust their government again. Because they had massive support of the people. There are a lot of people who support President Buhari without a cause. There are people supporting without a cause. So if this government...
People trekked for him.
Yes, if this government should disappoint the people, I am afraid of my own future and the future of people that will get into government because the issue of believability will completely break down.
I'm also hoping that the APC senator or senators are not insinuating the possibility of a massive rigging, as quoted on the front page.
Well, let's see how it plays out. Some governors are meeting, any aggrieved persons are meeting later on today. So, two other stories from the top here. Airlines groan as FG delays VAT waiver implementation. And then under it, electricity, we are being forced to reduce generation, say power firms. For those that understand how operations of the discos, the gencos, and then the transmission companies play out, they would understand why this is really, because when gencos generate a lot of electricity, but then discos cannot even, TCN first of the transmission companies can't transmit to discos, then what is there for them to transmit to the consumers?
That is why I said, if we continue to play politics with some of these sensitive matters, we will not get out of it. I don't see any reason why this government, for example, will come out and be celebrating megawatts generated. Because megawatt generated does not translate to better electricity. Now, what I think, fantastic, we've never had it this good when it comes to generation. We have never had it this good.
But we had it, that bad too, quite a while ago when we got to zero generation and they had to get up.
Of course, I'm just even talking from the positive angle. We have never had it this good. But again, what is the effect? I think it's about time for us to be celebrating the effect and the impact rather than the process. What we had was a process, okay, we generated. How did it affect me in Beribe? No, no way. The people that are the, what's it called, the small scale entrepreneurs are not even getting any benefit from the electricity because electricity generated is not going to add any value until we build the entire process where the transmission company of Nigeria can actually transmit to the distributors and these people can get it across.
In essence, you're saying that electricity generated doesn't translate into electricity distributed. All right. And then it dies at 85. Buhari, Saraki, PDP, Obaseki, others mourn the elder statesman. May he rest in peace. PDP condemns Buhari's aide. INEC chairs secret meeting. Okay, let's come down here.
It's secret, so...
yeah, so exactly, that's why I just had to leave it.
A similar situation played out in 2014, so it's like we're just repeating history.
Anyway. Shiites protests rocks Abuja. Army confirms killing 3. A worrisome video was posted online yesterday where the soldiers were allegedly using live bullets on the protesters. Okay, retirees paid 679.7 billion naira in 11 years. Pencom talking there. Boko Haram attacks military base in Borno, scores killed. It's quite confusing, really, when we are constantly told that Boko Haram has been decimated, technically defeated, and somehow this terror group is still active, pretty much active, and is becoming even emboldened by the day.
Government will rather play on that than tell the truth. You understand? The truth, if you receive calls from people there, the truth are really very hard to see on television, on live television. The fact is that these people are still there, whether we like it or not. But again, we should know that the fight against terror is not a fight of deadline. You understand? That does not mean that the government is not doing anything. It's a fight of consistency. So people must continue to fight because you don't defeat. I've been listening to since when I was a child. There were some countries that were popular on my radio in 1 o'clock news that they say in Yoruba in my community, and up to now they are still fighting terror. I'm talking about since 89, 91. Up to now they are still fighting. So it shows that we need to be consistent and we should not necessarily desire to score political points because I'm not seeing any reason why APC will come and criticize and why PDP will come and criticize APC because of this thing. This is not a matter of criticism. It is life of the people that we are playing with.
Non-conventional work.
It has nothing to do with politics.
And I don't see any reason why government will come and be telling lies. This is not a matter of life. If you have been to the north, if you have seen what these people are going through, you will know that our government, we do not even need the front pages of newspapers.
It's all right.
All we need is to consistently deal with this.
Let's move on now to The Point newspaper. Cracks in CUPP as splinter group emerges, considers new name. Members strike individual deals with Atiku. They are faceless, says SDPs denied. We're faithful to CUPP, or is it COP, what they call them now, agreement.
I thought it had broken at the point of...
INEC says that 79 parties have submitted names, of their presidential candidates.
There's still room for...
Do you expect to see more coalition
you see,
in the nearest
I doubt whether a coalition at this point in time we succeed. Because
it hasn't even been put to a test.
You understand? I doubt. Do you know why? When APC was being formed, you discover that it's a combination of zonal parties. Zonal parties came together, parties that were reigning in the West, parties that were reigning here, and then they came together to form a national government, a national party. But in this case, PDP umbrella will suppress and kill virtually all the other small parties. And the pride in PDP will not allow them to reasonably negotiate with smaller parties. This is where the problem will come from. For example, what makes it a law that the presidential candidate should come from PDP? If we really want to go into an agreement. But PDP will tell you that they are the biggest party.
Okay.
They have the structure. So the pride of PDP will not make this
frustrate the coalition. All right.
Don't ask us about Buhari certificate. I'm his spokesman. It's amazing we're still talking about this in 2018. I did not embezzle 50 million naira, says Adama Poli rector. Concoction tragedy. I didn't plan to kill. Okay, she didn't plan to kill her daughter. She only wanted a child for her. That's coming from a septuagenarian. While we're determined to unseat Buhari, Governor Abubakar in 2019, Bauchi, PDP. And that's it on the phone.
All right, so we go to the last paper, but not the least. The New Telegraph, major story, 2019. Buhari will be defeated in Northeast. Bukar Ibrahim talking there. We already analyzed the statement. Also, leaving that aside, some feelers on top of the headline. PDP to INEC, president ineligible to contest in 2019. Buhari's second term in Nigeria's interest. Yahya Bello. Shiites made attempt to cart away ammunition, missiles, army, given reason for the action of the soldiers yesterday. So we come down here. Of course, this bold picture saying good night to Mr. Fix-It, Chief Anthony Akanho Aneni, who passes on at 85. May he rest in peace. And down here, Sanusi, governors must embrace birth control. Stop Al-Majri advises northerners to convert mosques to schools.
You know, I talked about the three controls that we do not have as a nation that is actually our problem. The first control is birth control. A nation that does not have birth control, and we are growing at this rate. We are just growing old without growing up. We are just everywhere.
Some have said that we have no problems with controlling birth. After all, we have enough resources to go around. I mean, so why should we bother ourselves with how many children we're giving birth to?
See, why
at a time like this?
Why that is not tenable is because of the fact that the only growth we've known over time is population growth. Infrastructurally, we have not known growth. Even when government is planning, the government cannot plan most of the time because there's no stats to plan with.
Well, it doesn't change the fact that we have enough resources. We should focus on management of these resources. That's what some people are saying.
Of course, we have enough resources, but the fact is that once you continue to give birth indiscriminately, you are going to put pressure on public infrastructure because this fixing we are talking about is not going to be done overnight.
It's quite interesting.
So
it's quite interesting, though, too, for people that are saying that Nigeria has enough resources. About how many years ago? 50 years ago, during independence, the resources have been there.
Yeah.
The population wasn't this much.
No,
and now, many years down the line, the population has increased.
Around 50
the same resources
people
are still being
in 1960, 47, 50 million. Okay. Even as at 1982 here, we are still about 77 million people. But what happened between then and now that they are saying we are 200 million, 180 million is what anybody cannot understand.
Okay, that's about it on the newspaper review.
Dr. Ojo, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
It's a pleasure always.
Thank you for coming.